The movie begins with a therapist by name, Dr. Rose Cotter. At the age of 10, she is devastated by witnessing her mom's suicide. She wakes up from a terrific dream and receives a call for her first patient of the day, Carl Rankin. Rose is then introduced to her patient, a man who the doctor complains that they are unable to make him talk and is always saying strange and horrifying words, non-stop. Rose thanks the doctor for the information and tells him that she can take it from there. She walks up to the man, grabs a chair and sits beside her without uttering a word. Suddenly, the man keeps calm. Rose makes sure the man feels safe before leaving. On her way out, she is informed by a coworker that their boss wants to see him, who asked her about her last patient, which she told him the condition of the patient and gives her prescription. After the meeting with her boss, she received a call from Mount Pleasant Hospital about an emergency session with a graduate student who witnessed her professor, Gabriel Munoz, who brutalized himself with a hammer just days ago. She goes to meet the patient whose name is Laura Weaver. Inside the room, Laura is complaining to Rose that she's truly haunted by a sinister presence, whose curse has taken over her life, which only she can sense. Despite Rose's conclusion that she experiences hallucinations, Laura claims that the entity has the ability to take the form of other individuals, wearing a creepy smiles on their face, saying she is about to die. All of a sudden, Laura starts freaking out, screaming and shouting in fears. Rose walks up to the phone to alert the security, but when Rose comes back to calm her down, she is not where she left her. Rose turns to see Laura standing with a very creepy and chilling smile on face. She takes a broken vase shard to split her throat in front of Rose. After the shocking incident, Rose is brought in for questioning. They interviews her about Laura's death and her mental state before she died. One of the detectives who interviews her turns out to be her ex-boyfriend by name Joel. Still in shock by what she saw, Rose explains what Laura told her about him allegedly been cursed and followed by an evil entity with haunting smiles. After the interview, she heads back home. When she gets home, she meets up with her cat, Mustache. She goes to the bathroom to refresh. After settling down, she goes to the refrigerator to get some drink. After drinking a glass of wine, she started feeling a presence in the room. Rose turns around to see Laura staring and smiling at her. This is the first occurrence and the beginning of her doom. Her fiancé, Trevor, turns on the light to see Rose in shock as he calms her down for scaring her. She explains the incident to her fiancé but didn't say how her patient died. She goes to meet up with her sister, Holly, but still don't act the same as always. Her sister, Holly, invites her to her son's 7th year's birthday party. Laura insists that she can't, cause she have work at hand to do. The next morning at work, Rose asks her coworker to send her the details of her former patient. Rose goes ahead to research deeply on Laura's file. When she's done, someone called her. While she is answering her calls from the window, she sees the figure again, staring at her again. She cuts the calls and head to meet her former patient, Carl Rankin. Carl smiles ominously and begins threatening and terrifying Rose, saying that she is going to die, which causes her to call security. Orderlies restrain Carl, but it turns out that all the aggressive behavior is just playing in her head. Believing that Laura's shocking death may have caused a mental breakdown, Rose's boss, Dr. Morgan Desai, puts Rose on 1 week's leave. She heads back home. In the evening at Rose's apartment, the alarm suddenly starts ringing. Rose approaches to see if someone is behind it. She gets there and doesn't see anything. She stops the alarm. The phone rings. It's the security customer care. She goes to pick the call. She picks the call and narrates everything to the person on phone with her. The person asks her if she is alone, which she answers, yes. With a creepy voice, she asks again if she is sure and tell her to look behind her. It turns out that the entity was just messing with her mind. Now the phone rings again, which is the real security. Police came in and searches all the apartment. When they comes to tell her that nothing was found, her husband arrives and dismisses the policemen. He asks her why she sets the alarm, but she claims that she didn't remember doing it and also tells him that her boss gave her a week off to settle down. She is making food for her cat, Mustache, in the meantime. She is done and start looking for her cat, complaining she hasn't seen him around for a long time. She searches for him but didn't find him. Rose goes to sleep to wake up from a terrific nightmare, goes to her computer to investigate what gone wrong in that therapy session with Laura. In the midst of the research, a voice yelled her name. Scaring her. Trevor comes out and calms her down again. Concerned for own mental health, Rose visits her former therapist Dr. Madeline Northcott. Rose explains she is having hallucinations, which Madeline attributes to Rose's long-standing guilt over her mother's intentional overdose. Madeline denies Rose's request to prescribe antipsychotic medication. In the next scene, Rose is seen knocking on her sister's door with a wrapped gift. It turns out she later decided to come to her sister's child's birthday. They welcome her in. It's time for everyone to present their gift to the celebrant, which they all did. It's Rose's turn to present her gift. The gift turns out to be a dead cat. Rose's dead cat. Everybody is shocked with the discovery. She tells them that she didn't kill the cat and prepare it like that, but nobody believes her and stares at her, making her feel like she is insane. In the process of trying to convince them, Laura appears again, but this time sitting on one of the chairs there. She started asking Laura to leave her alone and asking if any other person is seeing what she is seeing, until she appears in front of her, making her to fall back at a glass table, injuring her. Rose tries to tell Trevor about the alleged curse that afflicted Laura, presumably being passed on to her. Trevor dismissively accuses Rose of killing their cat and having a mental disorder like her mother. Victoria, the widow of Gabriel Munoz, is seen by Rose. Victoria displays grisly drawings that Gabriel made of an evil force that he said was attempting to enter inside him. Additionally, Rose finds out that Gabriel was traumatized by the passing of his brother 20 years ago, and that he only started raving about the curse after witnessing a lady commit suicide at a conference. Rose asks for the woman's name, but Victoria kicks Rose out of her house after Rose becomes insistent that Gabriel was telling the truth about his curse. In the next scene, Joel is persuaded by Rose to assist her in putting together more clues. Joel tells Rose that it is his off day, but later agree in helping her. Joel uses his police computer to access a file for Angela Powell, who is the real estate agent that Gabriel Munoz saw die. Additional video shows that, several days prior to her death, Angela saw a smiling man suddenly hack his own neck with gardening shears at a gas station. When Rose gets home, she discovers that Trevor had requested an intervention from Madeline due to Rose's troubling mental state. Feeling betrayed, she runs out to deliver copies of Joel's files to her sister. When Rose tries to tell Holly about the curse, the sisters fight over how she is acting like their controlling mother. Joel phones Rose to let her know that more investigation has turned up a string of 20 incidents that are identical and involve witnesses to 19 suicides. Robert Talley, an accountant, was an exception who saw his business colleague commit suicide. But 4 days later, Robert murdered a stranger instead of killing himself. The trend continued for another week until the person who witnessed when Robert Talley killed the stranger committed suicide. Robert Talley is visited in prison by Joel and Rose. During the journey, Rose confides in an unconvinced Joel that she believes the entity possesses people before they commit suicide and that she is concerned her time with the curse is almost up. At the jail, Robert tells Rose in confidence that the only way to free herself from the curse is to murder another person, but there must be a witness, because the creature needs trauma to survive. When Robert knows Rose is currently under the curse, he quickly becomes frightened and orders her to leave immediately before passing the curse to him again. Madeline pays Rose a visit at her house. When the actual Madeline contacts Rose on the phone, Rose understands the entity is posing as her. Rose is in danger from Madeline's grinning double. In the next scene, Rose armed herself with a kitchen knife to kill someone before it kills her. Rose enters the hospital and goes straight to her patient, Carl, stabbing him multiple times to death in front of Dr. Desai, who then tears off his own face. It turns out that it's a vision. The entity is playing with her head again. The real Dr. Desai interrupts and finds Rose in her car with the knife, and he tries to summon help before she hurriedly drives away. Joel phones Rose to inform her that she is the subject of an APB after seeing her worried boss at the hospital. Rose gives a cryptic explanation, saying she will confront the monster and needs to be by herself to prevent any witnesses from inheriting the curse. Nice move, Rose. In the next scene, Rose is seen traveling by car to the abandoned house where her mother died. Inside, Rose is confronted by a vision of her mother inside who claims that Rose allowed her to die by not dialing 911 when she discovered her overdose. Rose claims that her mother is an abusive monster. After that, the image changes into a lanky creature that attacks Rose. Rose sets the creature on fire using an oil lantern. Rose then escapes outside as the entire house goes up in flames. Joel is visited by Rose, who wants to apologize for getting him involved in this and for not being emotionally available to him while they were dating. When Joel smiles oddly, Rose realizes she is still cursed. Rose runs outside, only to find that her childhood home is still intact, and she never actually left. At the abandoned home, the real Joel shows up. Rose locks Joel outside to keep him safe as the monster rips open her mouth. Joel enters the house just in time to witness Rose light herself on fire while smiling ominously. The movie ends. So guys, comment in the comment section below what you think about this movie. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.